Once upon a time there were three boys who enjoyed meeting and playing in a ruined house. One day they came upon a door which they had not noticed before. Pushing it open, they found themselves entering what seemed to be an ancient private library. The roof had not yet fallen in on this room, and the shelves were still intact, and they were crammed with many musty-smelling books. The boys pulled some down randomly, but they were disappointed to find that they were all written in Latin. But just as they were about to leave the room, their eyes were caught by an exceptionally small volume lying on the floor in a corner. It had a black leather cover embellished with gold leaf and inscribed with the title, Ye Book of Most Ancient Magic. The oldest boy grabbed the book, laid it on a broken table, and flung it open. It released a cloud of dust that sent them all coughing and choking. As it cleared, they saw that, as the title had suggested, it was a book of magic spells. Most of the charms it contained were of no interest to the boys, for they were not interested in love potions and the like. But on the very last page they found a much more interesting heading. A charm to call up ye devil, being recommended only to those who be foolhardy and willing to sell their souls to him. "Let's try it," said the youngest boy, who obviously wasn't the brightest boy. "Don't be an idiot, it'll kill us," said the oldest. "You're a coward," said the middle one. Then, with the younger boy, he began taunting the oldest one about being timid and feeble. The oldest boy thought the only way to silence them was to take up their challenge. Obviously, something had been lacking in his upbringing. So he placed the book open on the floor before him, and he began to follow its instructions. First he moved his left arm through the air in a wide arc, one way and then the other. Then he muttered some strange, incomprehensible incantations. Scarcely had the last word left his lips than there was a creaking noise behind him, and the lad saw the eyes of his two friends widen with horror. He turned around. One of the flagstones that had covered the floor tilted upwards until it was levitating several inches off the ground. In the void beneath it was a wisp of pungent yellow smoke. Then suddenly there emerged a dark and sinister head with a sharp goatee beard and two horns sprouting from the crown. "So, my young friends, you called me, did you?" it said in a repugnant yet syrupy voice. "I suppose you think this is some kind of joke. Well then, I will warn you, I have no sense of humor, and I am simply starving for human souls. Oh, you may flee me if you wish, but you can never send me away." The three boys didn't wait to hear any more. Clutching each other and trembling, they rushed out of the house as fast as they could, slamming the door. Behind, they could hear the creature laughing to himself. "It is the devil," said the middle boy. "Quick, block up the door so he can't get out." They set to work. They heaped up piles of rubble till the door was no longer visible. Then they went home, pledging to each other that they would tell no one of the horrible sin they had committed, hoping and praying that they would never see or hear of the devil again. But the devil cannot be dismissed so easily. Having been invited into the village, he was determined to stay. A blocked door was no hindrance to him. He passed easily through it, and as darkness fell, he set out to explore. Every step he took was laden with trouble. He slunk around houses, rattling windows and doors, dropping pebbles down chimneys. He prowled the streets, keeping his identity secret under a vast black hooded cloak, but sending shivers through every person who met his cold-eyed stare. He skulked through the churchyard, scratching up graves with his cloven hoofs and knocking down tombstones with his tail. It wasn't long before the entire village knew the devil had come amongst them. Everyone was stricken with horror. A delegation was sent out to the vicar, begging him to exorcise the evil one, but the vicar, being of a nervous and timid type, wrung his hands and said he had neither the strength nor the courage to take on such a powerful opponent. In despair, they sought help from the only other educated person in the village, the schoolmaster. The schoolmaster hummed and hawed and tried to make excuses, but in the end they persuaded him that he was their only hope. So he went into the school, locked all the doors and windows, and cleared all the furniture out of the way except for his own desk. On this he placed a Bible. Then, gripping the Bible tightly with both hands, he cried in a tremulous voice, "May the devil appear before me." And at once there was a loud thunderclap and the room filled with an acrid yellow smoke. As it melted away, a grotesque, horrible-looking creature was revealed to the schoolmaster. The evil one's cloak was thrown back across his shoulders, clearly displaying his hairy goat legs, cloven hoofs, and twitching tail. "Did you call me, master?" he simpered in a feigned falsetto voice. "I?" stuttered the schoolmaster. "What?" The devil's tone sank to a roar. "I?" stuttered the schoolmaster. "What?" The devil's tone sank to a growl. "Do you think I am some sort of pantomime genie that you can call up to grant you some wishes? Don't you realize the depths of my depravity and the darkness of my power? Aren't you afraid that I shall torment your soul and tear it apart bit by bit, day by day, until the end of time in the fires of hell?" No, it isn't like that, sir," the schoolmaster managed to say. It's just that I want to ask you, on behalf of all the villagers, if you would kindly go away." "Go?" answered the devil. "Kindly? Why should I go if I don't want to? What does a fiend like me know of kindness? Is this some kind of game by any chance?" "Well, no, of course not, sir. But I like games, my friend, especially gambling games," the devil interrupted him. Go on, you're tempting me, you naughty little boy." He let out a shriek of high-pitched laughter, then fell to growling again. "I'll tell you what, friend. I'll give you a chance. Set me 3 challenges. Make them as difficult as you wish. If I achieve all 3, I've won, and you, body and soul, are mine. But if I fail even one of them, you are the winner. And I swear by every tortured sinner that feeds the infernal flames, I shall leave this village forever." The schoolmaster let out a silent sigh of relief. He had expected not only to fail on his mission, but also to fall prey to the devil almost at once. And being a physically very puny man with unusually sharp wits, he was glad that the challenge did not demand brute strength, but cunning. He closed his eyes and ran his hands over the cover of the Bible, desperately trying to think of some impossible task that he could set the devil to do. The devil hovered before him, sucking his teeth with a rhythmic slurp, letting out shrill cackles, and clicking his hoofs together and fiddling with his tail. At last the schoolmaster said, "Here is my first challenge. Go outside and count all the raindrops in the hedgerows of the village." Before the last words had even left his lips, the devil had zipped out through the sealed doors of the schoolroom, and suddenly he was back again, doubled over with hysterical laughter and chanting, 73,420,089. Of course, the schoolmaster had no way of knowing whether the answer was right or wrong, so he had to accept it. If only he could think of a task that would take so long to do that all of the village would be long dead and safely buried before the wretch could complete it. Being a mathematician at heart, he seized on another calculation. Go out and measure every stalk of wheat in the big field behind the rectory, then work out to the nearest quarter-inch how many square feet of space it'll take up in the barn when it's fully grown, harvested, and dried. Again, the devil was off before he could complete his instructions, and back in an instant with an answer that sounded very likely and was impossible to disprove. Oh, it's no good, thought the schoolmaster. I need to get away from mathematical tasks, and I need to think laterally. What other subjects are there? Not history or Latin. There's nothing challenging in those. Maybe I should be thinking more along the lines of handicrafts. Yes, that's it. He cleared his throat and said, "For your last task, sir, I want you to go down to the beach and weave a rope out of the sand." Already the devil was spinning and pulsing as if about to disappear again, but the schoolmaster interrupted him. "Wait, I haven't finished. Then you must bring the sand rope here. Wash it carefully under the tap at the sink in the corner, and then hang it up in one piece to dry." The devil shot him a sly look from his left eye. Then, with a flick of his tail, he was gone. Almost before the schoolmaster could blink, he was back, carrying a long, snake-like rope woven entirely out of sand. "Now wash it," the schoolmaster commanded him boldly. The devil sidled over to the sink. He turned on the tap. He entwined the sand rope in his claw-like fingers, and he held it under the flow of water. At once, the sand rope disintegrated into an infinite number of grains of sand. The devil gave a screech as if he'd been stabbed through the heart. As the noise died down, the acrid yellow smoke that had heralded his arrival began to billow about the hall again. And then, in a flash, the evil one vanished from the village forever.